Welcome to Grad Gym. This video is on why you want a mentor, and this is from my own scenario, okay? When I was first starting out, when I was like, 13, 14, back in 1999, first starting out, like harassing the weight set in my grandma's basement, I had no clue what I was doing. I had no mentor, all right? And if you're interested in learning more about what we do at Grit Gym and how we apply our expertise to the people that we work with, go to gritgym.com/SS, sign up for a strategy session there, and we can jump on a call and we can figure out what's gonna work best for you. We can sit down and we can get a very, very clear strategy on where you need to go, why, and how for your individual circumstance. But how it worked out for me when I first started, I did not have a mentor. I didn't have anybody. I had literally nothing to go on. I just knew that I saw American Gladiators, I saw Jean-Claude Van Damme, I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger, I saw Sylvester Stallone, and all these movies. They looked huge. I knew that they lifted weights. I was like, man, whatever I got to do to be that. All right, but I started out, and I remember my grandma gave me this book on strength and conditioning, and one of the moves that I saw in there was a snatch, a barbell snatch, where you take the bar and you throw it up above your head, and then you're supposed to put it back down on the ground, do it again. I did not understand this at 14 years old. I did not understand this at 14 years old. In fact, what I ended up doing was I thought it was an overhead squat. So I threw the weight up above my head and I kept it there and I would do overhead squats. I was like, oh man, like this is a great exercise, man. That's really hard. It's what you're supposed to do. I had no clue what I was doing. Okay, a year later, after working out this way, I actually ended up tearing up my shoulder, okay? Not too long later, I did my elbow. Not too long later, I did my knee, I did my hip, I did my neck, I did my foot. I've done almost every joint on the right side of I've done every joint on the right side of my body. I've almost done every joint. So the reason why I'm saying that is I went for a long time with no mentor. Okay. Even in college, when we got our first strength and conditioning coach, I thought I'd learn a lot. Man, I think I probably knew more than he did at that time from all the books that I had read at the time. But at least a book provided some level of mentor. Okay. You want to have a mentor. You don't want to sit there and try to do this thing on your own. Besides that, it sucks. Like you're going to do a metabolic workout, an high intensity interval training workout where you're just busting it and you're out of breath and your muscles are burning. You're going to do that alone in your basement by yourself, and you think you're going to push yourself through that and you're going to get as much benefit from that as if you came in and you actually worked out with somebody right beside you and you guys went to town on that workout together. Okay, think if you had 5 or 6 other people in that room with you. Do you think that you would get to 80% of the workout and be like, you know what, maybe that's enough for today? No, I bet you'd pound it out to the end. It's way more fun. It's just more fun, okay? The other thing is, when you use an expert, you don't get hurt. You don't get injured. And that's the number one thing that you need to avoid, okay? This stuff behind me, I spun so I could show this. This is a chainsaw. A chainsaw is extremely effective in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing with that chainsaw, okay? To a second grader, that would be extremely dangerous, right? Most people aren't even to the educational level of a second grader with this stuff behind me. You have to know what you're doing and you have to know how to apply it to your individual circumstance, okay? And if you're interested, the way to get started with one of those is to do a strategy session, because we're gonna sit down, we're gonna figure out, are you an endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph? How does your shoulder sit? What's the alignment of your collarbone? How does your shoulder blade sit on your rib cage? Do you have thoracic mobility? How are you a naturally more lax person that has a lot of flexibility, or are you a naturally more stiff person that has a lot more stiffness in their body and can't move and doesn't have the mobility as well throughout their body? Because these are going to be totally different programs that we write out. Okay. Also, what's your goal? Man, that should be the first thing that you're really looking at. What is the goal? Where do we want to go? Because we got to know where we want to go. We're in Iowa right now. If we take a trip to New York, it's going to be a completely different course than if it was somebody starting in Florida. It's just a different course. So you have to know where you are right now. You have to know where you've been. You have to know how those affected your body back then, because your past is going to probably give us some insight into your present and your future and how your body is going to respond to this. But if you want to do it on your own, you're going to end up spending probably at least 90% of the money that you are already going to spend. You're going to buy equipment that you don't need, that you don't want, that becomes expensive, clothes drying rack, essentially. And by the time that you get hurt, you're going to go to a physical therapist, you're going to go to an orthopedic doctor, and then you're going to go to a physical therapist, and then you're going to run out of insurance money, and then you're going to come to us, and the cycle still was the same. Why don't you just subtract the part out from you trying to do it yourself and get your butt in here, right? It would be a lot better. So don't spend all this, you're going to spend 6 times as long trying to be successful at this thing if you don't have a mentor, okay? Think of that. Think if you could cut down. Think how many people label burnout as their thing that keeps them from doing getting the success that they wanted. They're like, man, I've just been working at this thing so hard and I'm just burnt out. Nobody gets burnout when they're progressing. Nobody gets burnout when they're excited. Nobody gets burnout when they're actually making results happen, okay? Results are exciting. Progress is exciting. Nobody gets burnt out when they're making progress. The reason that you feel burnout isn't because you worked really hard. It's because you didn't make the progress. And the reason that you didn't make the progress is because you didn't take the actions necessary to actually get you to where you wanted to go. And that's not a matter of working hard. That's a matter of working smart and hard. Okay? I don't want to get into the story of the tortoise and the hare on here because I wanted to keep this one pretty short. But if you're interested in knowing what you can do with your body, what you can do with an expert, what an expert program can actually do for you, go to gritgym.com/SS and get signed up for a strategy session and let's sit down and talk, okay? Because I'll tell you this, when I went to college, I thought I was going to get this really great strength coach, right? I thought I was going to get this awesome strength coach and I was going to learn a lot. It was going to be really great. Well, I got there and looking back now, the program was atrocious. All we did was cardio the whole time. Our speed training, we do that for about 45 minutes when really that was just high intensity interval training. Then we do planks for 15 minutes, okay, about 10 to 15 minutes. We do lateral planks, side planks, like all one arm, one leg, like all this different stuff. And then we go into the weight room, we do high intensity interval training there with a bunch of Olympic lifts and stuff, and we know better now. And then we would go outside and we would condition, and we would condition to death. And this is what we did 3 to 4 days per week, every single day. Now, this is a little bit of a problem. When I was going, just to give you some numbers, and not to try to be like impressive with these numbers, because they're not, but to impress upon you what a difference an expert can make. When I went to college, I had a 32-inch vertical leap. Okay, I don't remember what my 40 time was. My L drill, I think it was like 4.6 or something like that. Or 4. I think it was maybe. It was 4.4. Yeah, it was 4.4 when I got out of college and I had a 32-inch vertical leap. Okay, that's not bad, right? It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. Okay, when I went to college, all of a sudden I couldn't break 4.6 in my L drill, and my vertical leap was only 27. Now that's weird because I went from being an 18-year-old to a 20-year-old. Okay, that shouldn't be the case. From going from 18 to 20, even if you were to sit on the couch almost and not do anything for those 2 years, you should, just by age and maturity and having more testosterone and being more of a man, I should have been able to jump higher and run faster, right? But that was not the case. Why? Okay, now the interesting thing was I went and spent 12 weeks with an expert, a true expert on strength and conditioning. His name Matt McGettigan at Iowa State. Genius level, but a very, very, very highly intelligent man, extremely skilled in strength and conditioning, okay? 12 weeks there, I come back, I've got a 35-inch vertical leap, my L-drill was 689, my pro agility was 411, okay, that's over a second, it's almost half a second faster, which is insane, okay? To put that in perspective, that's not to impress you, it's to impress upon you, okay? That's 12 weeks, only 12 weeks in a program where there was foam rolling, rest periods, it was planned out, and that's 12 weeks. That's like nothing in the grand scheme of time. Okay, that's the difference between a hack and an expert. Okay, that's the difference between a hack and an expert. I got injured multiple times when I was in college. I did not get injured when I went to Iowa State. Okay, very interesting stuff. If you want to get around an expert, okay, you want to do it's kind of a proximity to power too. Like I was but like if you're going to do it yourself, it's going to take way longer. You're going to burn out because you won't be able to make the progress to keep it exciting. It'll just be so much harder to do it alone. I mean, it's astronomically harder. Okay, you're going to spend way more money. You're going to spend way more time. You're going to screw up some stuff because it's bound to happen that you don't know how to program. And you get on a program that really works for you and really magical things can happen. Okay, besides, think if you tried to remodel your kitchen. I did this one time. I tried to, I just started destroying my kitchen. I was like, I hate this countertop. I hate this. I was getting out saws and sawing stuff off. And I did the deconstruction part, and I was like, man, I got to put all this back together. I started putting it all back together. And I tried to do it all myself for a little while. And eventually I was like, this is dumb. Man, I'm ending up with a product that is like 40 to 60% as good as what an expert could do. And I can only say that because I actually had some experience in construction, and if I went out and got an expert, man, I would probably like the end product. And I'm spending more money doing this than if I just hired the expert. So I needed to hire the expert. So if you're going to do this thing, get an expert. An expert makes all the difference in the world. You want to get an expert. And this is a stable datum. This is a stable, like there's a certain amount. I use this, like if I don't have a lot of always, I'm going to have a lot of nevers. Okay? And so I want to have some always in my life. So one of the stable datums that I use, health never costs money. Okay? When it comes to nutrition, it does not cost me money. Okay? When it comes to strength and conditioning, when it comes to exercise, mindset, nutrition, recovery, anything around health, it does not cost me money. Okay? You adopt that in your life. Any money that you put into your health, it is an investment in your future. You are doing your future self a favor, a huge favor. So what you do today, the exercises that you do today, the food that you eat today is going to do your future self a favor. Okay? It's not comfortable now, but man, it's going to pay off when it counts. Okay? So that's why you're doing this thing. And to get started at Grit Gym, go to gritgym.com/SS because we want to help. Okay? This is why we do this. Okay? We want to help. We will do anything to help you get to where you want to go, because that's our purpose in this life. So anyway, don't get hurt. Do not get hurt. That's the opposite of health. Do not get hurt, okay? Exercise or health never costs you money. Investing in your health is an investment. It's not an expense. And you want to get a mentor. Get a mentor as fast as you possibly can. But that's it for today. Please jump on to gritgym.com/SS. Sign up, fill out that form, and let's get going.